Hello and welcome. My name is Gio from SwitchRPG.com. Today we are at the Genshin Impact booth here. I am here with Jason. Jason, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
I'm with the MiHoYo Games at Genshin Impact, and I'm the brand manager, part of the global team. So really my job is to work with developers to make sure that we can create the best possible experience for gamers, and especially taking our game and making helping Western players really enjoy it. So that's what we're here today.
That's perfect. Now, Genshin Impact has been in the news for a variety of reasons, but before we get into that, why don't you describe what Genshin Impact is?
Oh, so Genshin Impact is an open world action RPG, and the core ingredients that we're working with is player freedom. We want players to be able to go anywhere they want, anything they see, they should be able to climb, swim to, or go to. And mixed in with the action combat that we've delivered for previous games in Honkai Impact. And we have 30 characters, so I guess part of that is we want you to build your own team, not just on the 4-player party basis, but have a whole roster of it. Because of the way the gameplay is set up with the elemental system, where we have 7 different elements, we want you to sort of master the combinations and chain reactions, so fire and ice. How do I freeze the lake and walk across it and let enemies drown in them? How do I burn the grass and then use wind to spread that further? So interacting the elements with the open world, as well as creating interesting combinations that players wouldn't have seen before. That's the sauce of our gameplay right there.
Right. I absolutely like the environmental impact that I saw on, I think it was some streams or some demos on YouTube. I think that's a really kind of cool mechanic in the way you can kind of traverse the environment and combat. I really think that's really cool.
Awesome. Good.
Oh, and one thing, I wanted to kind of go back to, I mentioned it a little bit. Now, Genshin Impact was in the news regarding its, I guess we could call it Breath of the Wild likeness. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I would say that Breath of the Wild is absolutely a masterpiece, and it's no secret that it has inspired our team to want to create what I think is the pinnacle of open world design. So sort of the design pillars that we share is the player freedom, right? You can go anywhere you want, and also they made a world that you just want to be in. And so that's, how do we take that and create something unique for us? So I think, I mentioned, how do we interact with the world that makes it more rich and interesting? That's sort of what I think we have created. And one of the things we want to do is bring more of that action forward. So it's discovery meets anime action RPG. We have a long single-player campaign, and we'll support this game for a long time, years to come. So the world should be evolving as you go. That's something we're really excited to show off today.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think the Breath of the Wild likeness does have its I kind of see it a little bit, but I think what Genshin is doing is actually very different. Okay, number one, there's magic abilities, whereas in Breath of
magic,
and Breath of the Wild doesn't really have magic abilities. And also, there are tons of characters that you can actually be. Again, you can only play as Link in Breath of the Wild, and also there are big cities/towns in Genshin Impact, whereas in Breath of the Wild, there's kind of like outcroppings of towns and buildings. Nothing really there in terms of that, yeah, I just think what Genshin is doing is kind of elevated what Breath of the Wild has done as well.
Well, we got to be humble about this, because I mean they're the masters of what they've created. Now, a lot of these games that come after is Breath of the Wild-esque, right? So I don't want to say elevated, but we are inspired by, and that's no secret. But hopefully the game will play and feel a very different experience than Breath of the Wild, and I think that's something I hope that you get to try out and you get to have your own take on it today. Yeah,
definitely we'll be putting our hands on the demo here that's playable at PAX. Now, you mentioned many characters as well as 4 characters. Now, is there a co-op system in here? Can I get friends to play? Is there an online kind of mechanic to this? What's the story with that?
Yeah, so the game actually will be focused on a single-player experience. Our studio is very much about storytelling, creating depth in the characters. At the same time, we know players like to explore and fight with friends. So there will be co-op. Specifically how it's implemented, that's still something we're working out, but the focus here today is on how do we make this a world you want to continue to be in? And so yeah, co-op details will be coming after shortly.
All right, cool. Now, what can we expect for game time total?
Well,
millions of hours?
That's actually a good question, because we want the game to not be beaten in the traditional sense. Like, it's not, taking off quests, and like there very much will be a single player campaign that makes you care about the world and the characters, that drives you forward. But at the same time, we want for this the world maybe just sit on the top of a hill, take a selfie, and just take in the scenery. Maybe something interesting about that pillar over there, has something shiny that attracts you over there, and maybe unlock something that it's not part of the campaign. And as we go, we're hoping to add secrets and reasons for you to keep exploring that in every nook and cranny. So to answer your question, I can't put a number on that for you. That's something I will see. Yeah.
All right, so it's a million-hour game. That's great. Now on the floor here, it's playable on PC as well as PlayStation 4. There is a Switch line coming at some point? Is that correct?
Yeah. So Switch has been confirmed, but we don't have a playable build at the moment. So our focus is on PC, PS4, Android, and iOS. But yes, so yeah, there will be one coming.
Okay. And can we any release date, release window?
I don't have that. A release window for the PS4 PC version is just by the end of 2020. But Switch, that's still something that we're working through.
All right, we'll get the Switch version next month. You heard it. No. So Switch version at some point, which is great. I'm really excited to try this out, and I hope everyone gives it a chance, because I mean, visually it looks stunning, and I think it's going to be right up my alley too.
Well, glad to hear it. I'd love to get your take on it, and I think the elemental side of things, like that is truly where the game stands out. So I'd love for you to get a chance to play. Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.